resolution kind of person? Are you pondering your 2025 goals? Perhaps you will pursue a new exercise routine or diet, or vow to make and stick to a financial plan. Perhaps you will vow to more actively recycle plastic, or engage with a social justice platform. Maybe you are not a New Year's resolution kind of person, having learned through experience that your resolutions do not carry the necessary commitment to achieve success. Buried within any resolution is a desire for a new beginning, another second chance. Each of the four Gospels gives us a beginning. Mark begins us with Jesus the adult, the man from Nazareth. Mark is considered to have written the first Gospel, and its purpose was to firmly root Jesus as a human and place him into an identifiable context within a community of men. Matthew and Luke begin earlier, bringing Jesus into human awareness through the words of the prophets, words which define God's deep desire to deliver humanity from their wickedness and deceit. John begins in the beginning. In that beginning, before anything had been created, there was the Word. There's often confusion in the use of the phrase, the Word. It may be helpful to remember that the Word is not a noun which describes and defines interpretation of and compliance with biblical passages. John is introducing us to Jesus Christ. He refers to Jesus using the Greek word logos, which means the Word. It may be helpful to substitute the name Jesus for the Word in this gospel passage. And Jesus was with God, and Jesus was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things came into being through him, and without him not one thing came into being. What has come into being in him was life, and the life was the light of all people. The light shines in the darkness, and the darkness did not overcome it. Jesus is clearly defined as God and co-creator with God the Father. So listen to the words of the creation. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. Jesus was in the beginning of the beginning, the light of creation. And the creation story told in the book of Genesis was written during the time of the Old Covenant. The law, indeed, was given through Moses. The Old Covenant was a conditional agreement between God and the Israelites that required the Israelites to obey God and the law, which included the Ten Commandments and over 600 other laws. In return, God promised to protect and bless the Israelites. It took God a long time to become frustrated with his people and form a new resolution for a new beginning. God sent John to testify to a new light in the darkness, to proclaim the coming of the new covenant. The new covenant was a promise from God to forgive sin and restore a relationship with those who believed in Jesus Christ. The new covenant was based on faith in Jesus' blood to atone for sins rather than repeated sacrifices. Gone was the necessity for ritual sacrifice. Gone was judgment through threat and retribution. And now who was the Word? Substitute the name God. And God became flesh and lived among us. And we have seen his glory, the glory as of a Father's only Son, full of grace and truth. In launching Jesus into the world of humanity, God set forth a new beginning. God wanted his children, his recalcitrant children, to turn to him with love, support, for forgiveness, for redemption. In order to do this, he had to put on a recognizable face, to carry a body that could enfold, to bear hands that could feel and heal, to have ears to hear, a voice to speak, a heart that bled, and the resolution to obey unto the death. Grace and truth came through Jesus Christ. No one has ever seen God. It is God, the only Son, who is close to the Father's heart, who has made him known. Jesus is the source of our life and our light. He came into the world to overcome the darkness of the world and left the world on the cross that we might spread the light. We reflect Jesus' love, mercy, and grace to the world. While Jesus amongst humans surely must have had party moments of celebration and joy, it was Jesus who illuminated those humans who struggled with life's darkness. So if you dread stepping into 2025, if you feel obliged to give yourself New Year's resolutions, I give you a quote from Michael Altshuler. The bad news is, time flies. The good news is,